Thank you for tuning in the Coops World Virginia podcast today. The theme song is Gossip Hood News. I say what I want to, never got a front dude. This good cooked food, tune into the intro. You can get exclusives, things that you heard from a different perspective. Listen, digest it, and when you down, you can call me. You ain't alone here, it's all we. Good space, good times, tap in, listen now. Donate, you can show love, this show all love. Subscribe now to YouTube, Coops World Podcast Virginia, on every streaming platform. Yeah. All donations appreciated. Cash App, $DAZE29. PayPal, Dream Reality ENT1 at gmail.com. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Coops World Podcast Virginia. That is the artist producer, DMV artist, Coop Days. You can follow him on Real Coop, that's COUPEDAZE1 on Instagram, YouTube, www.coopdays.com. Today's show is about why. Why when you live under somebody's roof, you gotta follow their rules. Why does it seem like they always pestering you, making you uncomfortable? Another topic in this discussion is why do we question God's plans for us? Well, I'm doing something special, man. I got a few people that called in, and Coops World Podcast Virginia, Wide Body, you live. Go ahead, brother. Speak your piece.
Aries, man, I was just saying, jumping in on your conversation about why people need to jump on the people's rules that they live with or they choose to live with. Man, plain and simple, it's not your house.
For sure, brother.
But you do have a choice to be there or not. If you don't want to live by these people's rules, whether you're young or you're old, you have the choice not to be there. So ultimately, the choice is yours. If you choose to be there, you have to go by the owner's rules.
Most definitely, man. The sense of entitlement in today's youth is just crazy, and I thank you for giving your input so far, this far, with what's going on in the world and entitlement and how people feel they should move on their own accord under somebody else's roof, man. Go ahead and continue and tell us the rest of your opinion on what you think on this topic today on the Why episode.
It's the same as when you're renting something. You know, it ain't yours. You can't do everything that you want to do when you want to do it. And if you choose that, then you got to deal with the consequences that come to it.
Like
getting kicked out. My suggestion is to have these type of discussions with the people that you move in with off the jump, and then make your decision on what you want to do. As a kid, you know, you're just a child. You don't know any better. But as an adult moving into something, you have the choice, like I said, to be there. So you make that decision. If you don't like their rules, then the next best step is to try to get your own spot so you can make your own rules and live by your own accord.
For sure, brother, man. I don't know, man. You just nailed it with that. The next topic that I have to ask you is why, as people, do we question God with the path that He already has pre-written for us? Why do we go over and over again rather than trust the process and try to grow and become into what we are supposed to be? What is your input on that, man? I think it's something that needs to be spoken on, and this is the platform to do it, man. Coops World Podcast Virginia. Go ahead, Skrilla, tell us what you think about that.
Now, as far as asking the question why things happen the way they happen, and whether it brings negative or positive or whatever you would like to think, I think it's natural for everybody to ask why things are happening to them. You know what I mean? It's a natural question. Like I said, that would make us human. to ask questions like that. But we also need to have faith and not lean on just the negative of why these things are happening, because you can ask that about positive stuff too. Like it's not just when negative things happen you always asking why stuff happens to me. You can have some positive things and be like, yo, I don't understand why this is happening to me, but it's happening. It's a good thing. So you can look at it at two different sides of the coin. Ultimately, it all comes back to just having faith, I believe, in a higher power, and not dwelling on the negative, and just, if it's something positive, being grateful for it. Having a good solid belief and knowing that God's gonna have you regardless. So yeah. Peace.
That was well said, man. A lot of his opinions he expressed to me, Skrilla, man. I feel you on that. I hear you, big dog. You was preaching, you was talking. You see, I like this here, man. I like to it's like we back on the block, man. We just shooting the six. We sitting in the barbershop. We talking amongst one another. This is good stuff right here. Platforms, man. Good vibes. This one means something. This is coming from Brooklyn, New York. Round of applause, please. Round of applause. Family, the queen, you in here. The stage is yours. Tell us your input, man.
We should follow rules under one's roof, regardless of our age, because at the end of the day, it's not our place. And as you get older, it becomes a courtesy instead of them having to have us there. It'll also keep the peace until we're able to branch out on our own, and we'll be able to do that in a smarter way instead of rushing because it's stressful.
I know it was a reason why I had to call on fam urgently, man. She knows what she's talking about. Continue on, man. I love it. Now on the other subject matter, on why we question why we keep going through what we're going through. What is your perspective on that? Is it any personal situations, life situations you faced, or any input you want to give to the people as far as why we question God?
Things could keep happening most of the time because there may be something we need to change, but we're stuck in that situation because it becomes more and more heavy for us.
Interesting. So you saying like karmic lessons type of stuff. Like, okay. Go on. I'm interested.
This is when we will need to take a time out and step back to look at what it is
right,
and how we can change it. We could also make a list of things to execute one by one so it's not too much on us and we could feel some sort of accomplishment, because when we look back at the list we can see that we're knocking things off.
That's a good idea, good narrative. Real grown adult approach. Of course, we all are adults. Cousin, I thank you for coming in. I really appreciate you, yo. Round of applause for Brooklyn, man. They the home of the realest, you know what I'm saying, man? Yeah. So, a little bit about me, you know what I'm saying? I thank God first and foremost. I thank my mother, Mom Dukes. If it wasn't for her, showing me tough love and showing me the ropes of how to balance your finances and the value of $1, I wouldn't be where I am today. Homeowner, rapper, artist, husband, I just had to put my 2 cents in. And I look at it like I've seen rock bottom. Not to tell my business, but I'm telling my business because it's my story. I've been homeless, you know what I'm saying? And I had to go through all of that. And the more I used to ask God, like, why is this happening to me? Why I feel like I'm the only one in the world that just keeps getting the short end of the stick. The more worse things got, like literally worse. So now in my mid-30s, late 30s, I understand the concept of do not question the man, your creator. Let things happen and adjust and adapt as it happens and push through it, because there's a greater cause. There's purpose. You got purpose in your life. Once you figured out your purpose and you let go of the whys, and then, going back to the other topic living in somebody else's home, and why I got to come in at 10 p.m. and why you charging me so much. It's all in preparation. If in our young minds, we don't stop and think about what we're doing. Everything's fast, fast, fast. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Gotta party. You know what I'm saying? I got me stuttering over here because that's how real it is. Like, I gotta see everybody. I gotta touch everything. I gotta smoke. I got to drink. But the older you get, you start looking at life from a bigger standpoint. You start valuing the little things. You're having your own, being able to come and go as you want. But you have to go through certain things to get there. It doesn't find you. God allows it when it's time for you. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But we're gonna take some more calls here and get some more perspectives on this. I just wanted to tune in, chime in on my side of things. Yeah. We got Sam from West Virginia. Sam, where you at?
I mean, whatever you put out into the universe is what gets mirrored back to you. All it takes is 17 seconds of thinking whether it's something positive or something negative. All it takes is 17 seconds of thinking those thoughts or sending that energy out into the universe, and that's just going to be what gets mirrored back to you. For instance, if you wake up in a bad mood and you're just upset, like, a bunch of stuff throughout the day is just going to keep upsetting you even more. Just things are just going to keep happening like a snowball effect. And the same thing works with positive vibes and positive energies that you put out. You asked the right person, because I'm all about sending positivity into the universe. I'm on this whole new journey where I try not to think negative thoughts or feel negative things and have those low vibrations. I try to send high vibrations out because that's what I want to come back to me.
I dig it. Thank you, Sam, for tuning in. Real quick, I had this conversation with I'm gonna call him Cuz, and he was telling me that his mom's charged him a crazy amount. You know what I'm talking about? And he wasn't okay with that, and he had a curfew as an adult, and I basically had to break it down to him like, you got children, okay? He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the day is gonna come when your children become of age, early adulthood, and you got house rules, and it's not gonna be until that moment that you understand the assignment and know that you effed up. Like, damn, I gave my mama hell, bro. Now it's just a cycle. It's coming back to me. My children are of age now, and now they got to follow my rules. Cause the first thing you're gonna say as a person, man, like, man, F that, get out my house, straight up. You know what I mean? That's the typical general, parent answer. Who's gonna tolerate disrespect in their house? He's from Virginia. I'm not gonna give his name. This is Cuzzo right here from Virginia.
Yeah, you could say that. Working, I had to work 2 jobs, man. I was on my last $800, bro. I made this shit like it's yesterday, and I invested in some crypto, bro, and got paid 10K off that 800. Bro, man. I was having my first child too. That shit was rough, dog.
Nah, for real, I feel that, man. First and foremost, I just want to say I'm glad that you climbed out of that. But what I would say is your mother was charging what she was charging. Would you rather pay your mother or a stranger? Number two, your mother knows best. You know what I'm saying? She was prepping you for the real world, and we as people think that we can just walk out into the world and be great off rip.
I don't think it's necessarily me being grown. Is that my mom on the other side? She was trying to charge me a crazy amount of rent.
Okay, that's what I'm saying though. Everything has reason behind it. We don't get to decide what we pay and what is fair and what we deem is fair when we live with people. See, that's the problem we got in our younger selves, our younger mind. You know what I'm saying, bro? But go ahead now. Go ahead though. Continue, continue.
That's what kind of forced me to leave. It wasn't like I wanted to leave. She forced me. You know, I be feeling like, bro. I be like, how many times is
Whoa.
this man gonna try to humble me, man?
Whoa, whoa,
He
whoa,
humbled
whoa,
me what?
man. I'ma say you before you even go there. That's what this whole episode is about. Why? Coops World Podcast. By the way, do never question God's plans, bro. That's what I've learned, and that's what I've been talking about on this episode. You just gotta strive, you gotta adapt, you gotta keep going. I know it seems unbearable, like the world's falling and caving in on you, but we have to endure that to level up. That's what the whole thing is about. The process. When they say trust the process. You understand what I'm saying, young man? But go ahead though. Now I don't mean to cut you off. I'm real passionate about things and I love to help people. And that's what I've learned and that's what I see and that's what I'm trying to give people now, man. This gift of life to be able to move and navigate the proper way, if you would say.
2 years ago when I lost like 20 something thousand, bro. And it's like, bro, now this bullshit again, man. It's not as bad as it was. But I'm like, I get what you're saying when you're talking about like, yeah, she charged me and stuff like that, but she wanted me to pay rent and then on top of that pay for food and stuff like that. I'm like, nah, bro.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that, man. This is where it gets interesting. Everybody wants to step out into the world and live this, I would say, fantasy life that we see that life is supposed to be when you first start out. And they get out there and life beats them up like a beat down bad, bro. Then you start thinking like, dang, maybe I should have paid my mom what I thought and deemed was too much. Because when you really think about it, living expenses, children, basic necessity needs, toilet paper, eggs, like everything. You know, you got a wife, she's on a menstrual, she needs pads, like the list goes on. Versus what you just would have paid a one flat fee to stay with your mom. You got to ask yourself, is
You know
it
what I mean?
worth it?
If you want to charge me like a tenant, you have to let me live like a tenant. You know what I mean? And if you wanted to control what time I come in and come out, I mean, I understand all that, but like, come on, bro.
I mean, at the end of the day, bro, a lot of people, you got to look at it
Do your thing, bro.
like
I ain't
you
tripping.
you blessed. A lot of people don't got that. They don't got that outlet, that privilege, that mom to go back to. So my advice is, man, just keep striving. I know you actually where you need to be and want to be right now. But if you was to give this information to somebody younger, just tell them to be mindful, man. But next we got Akeem from Southern Maryland. We're gonna tap in and see what his thoughts is on the process of growing and coming of age and all the nice stuff that we talking about right now. So Akeem, go ahead one time, man. You got the stage, brother.
I would say, in terms of the age-old argument of, oh, it's not fair, this shouldn't be this way, I should, I'm an adult, I should be granted the ability to do X, Y, and Z, even though I'm living under your roof, whether it's paying rent or not. Here's the reality of the situation. And being an adult now and having been in that situation as an adult and having been in that situation as a child, really and truly, the two age groups don't matter. And the reason why I say that is because somebody who is allowing someone to live under their roof, if they're allowing an adult to live under their roof, them taking into an account that they are an adult and giving them adult courtesies is just that. It is a courtesy, because as long as you are living underneath somebody else's roof, you have to abide by their rules. Why do you have to abide by their rules? Because your house, your home, is your peace. That is the place where you establish ground rules for what happens day in and day out, whether it's what happens with anything pertaining to you in that household, whether it's what happens to anything that pertains to guests coming to that household. There's a blanket rule book that you apply as soon as you establish those grounds for yourself. So if you are somebody who is living underneath somebody else's roof, you have to abide by those rules. I do believe in karma, and I do believe that when it comes to karma, karma is not always okay. You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. I don't think it's as simple as that. I think karma allowing themselves to be a victim, that they don't see the things that are causing them to be that victim. Just because you are not the aggressor in a situation that turns out poorly for you does not mean there isn't anything that you've done to contribute to you being in that situation. So my best advice would be, if you find that life keeps dealing you the same hand, stop looking at yourself as a victim and start looking at yourself and asking, what is it that I'm doing in my everyday life that I could possibly change, that could tweak the equation that is resulting in this repeated suffering or this repeated misfortune? That is the best advice that I can give everybody. Don't take on that victim role, even if all your friends and all your family are saying, oh my God, I feel so bad for you. For a moment, challenge yourself and decide to say, you know what, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to look at myself and I'm going to analyze everything that I do, and I'm going to analyze all the things that I can control, because I cannot sit here and analyze the things that I cannot. And I guarantee you, if you do that wholeheartedly, you will find that your fortune and your blessings and everything will come full circle. And that's what I have to say about that.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, stop what you, man, give this brother a round of applause. First and foremost, very educated intellect on 3,000. I'm speechless. You know, I said a couple little comments, little laughs in between, but like at the end of the day, brother was on point. He came with it. He delivered, and that's it. Like, round of applause for a king from Maryland. It just amazing, sensational. We got Green Eyes here from Southern Maryland as well, that would like to give her take on the topic of today. I'm gonna tell you right now, Green Eyes, you got to come with it, baby girl, because, man, I tell you what, a king from Maryland, Southern Maryland, that boy was ready. Like fish and spaghetti, bro. He came with it, but you know what? I'm gonna give everybody a chance, fair chance, fair stage. Go ahead, Green Eyes. Tell us what you think about this.
Much to say on your podcast, because like it's just a level of respect. When you live under somebody's roof when you're young, it's the same thing. You're respecting the house. You're respecting the fact that, you know, they're paying the bills. They're doing everything to provide for you. So it's respect. And then as you're older, people need to respect you in the same sense. If they're living under your roof, you're older, or the same thing, you set rules for yourself. But what I would say on the other part of what you said is the law of attraction. You're manifesting what is going to happen to you. You're speaking it into the universe. If you speak positive every day and you're sending a good message and light, nothing but good things are going to happen. But if you're negative and you're doubting everything and you're just taking each day and you wake up and you're just not grateful and you're just so negative, you're speaking that over your life. That's why most people, when they speak like that, they're unhappy, and then they question why all these things happen to them. But that's why you just got to stay in the light. You got to stay positive. But yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, Green Eyes. It's appreciated. I like to stop for a second and say, if you are not following us, Coop's World Podcast, VA, on IG and on YouTube as well. Like I said on the beginning of this episode, please subscribe, like, and comment. You know, donations, that information is up front. Moving forward, we got another Virginia caller, man. I love the DMV support. So Virginia, tell them what it is, brother.
Usually the people, you know, living under somebody's roof, or, you know, it's a big impact based upon how you chose your decision to live your life, what decisions you made, will impact you, why you want to be this way. Every house has its own rules and settings. It just all depends on your time of life. If you lost your job, you ain't got money to pay your rent or your mortgage. You gotta live with somebody else until you gain back up. Or, you know, just prime example. So what you do, you don't think negative about yourself. You don't stay in that position. You rise up from that position. And then on top of that, when you change the negative to positive, the positive vibes come in, the positive energy coming in, and prove yourself that you become a better person based on the impact of living with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? When you living with somebody else, it's supposed to be set on 10 house for 9 to a year to 2 years upon themselves and still ain't get nowhere in life where they doing because they're too comfortable living in that person's house.
I thank you for that, brother. Again, well spoken on behalf of Virginia. Thank you. Shout out to Virginia. And we are coming up to the segment in the section of the show where we are about to wrap it up. I would have to leave y'all with this gem. Think about it, man. Don't be silly. Do not be silly. Unless your mother is the spawn of hell, if she's charging you a certain amount, you might think in your young mind that this is too much. But the grass ain't greener on the other side. Your older mind is always going to conquer your younger mind because your younger mind just acts about fun and what can happen in the moment. So the moral of the story is, man, be grateful, be blessed, be thankful that if you have a mother that can even charge you that much, be thankful because you will thank her. The future you will thank her. As far as the other side on the whys and why is this happening to me? Oh Lord, why? I can't take this no more. Blah, 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 blah. Toughen up. Suck it up, buttercup. Flex your muscles. You know what I'm saying? There's no nice way to say that. Flex them muscles. Get right. Accept it. Move on. Grow from it. Learn from it. You rocking with your boy Coop from Coop's World Podcast, VA. Subscribe, like, comment, follow us on Instagram. That's COUPES World Podcast, VA. Oh yeah, straight like that. Same for the YouTube. Taking donations via Cash App, like we said on the theme song. $DAZE 29. Yes sir. Put some pennies in the hat and the tip jar, whatever you want to say. We also take PayPal. That is dreamrealityent1@gmail.com. Thank you for all the supporters. Thank you for the people that came through today, man. I rock with y'all. I love all the different aspects and input on what the show was about today. You know, leave your comments, share this, like this, spread the word. Peace and love. Cool.